everyone, this is Ben, and welcome to my shiny toolbox. Well, here it is that time of year again, and we need to winterize Mary Jane. It's the 1st of November, and the already questionable weather has wreaked havoc with us in the span of a few hours. Yesterday, a relatively violent cold front came through, bringing with it heavy rain and damaging winds. The real threat, however, was the change in temperature. It was 85 degrees Fahrenheit at 5 p.m. on Halloween. By 8:30 p.m., the temperature had dropped more than 30 degrees. And by 7 a.m. on November 1st, we woke up to a balmy 38 degrees Fahrenheit. That's almost 50 degrees in just over 12 hours. Not Chicago winter weather, but it was a serious wake-up call. So it's time to do the winterizing on our Airstream, and I thought I would show you what I do to make sure Mary Jane doesn't wind up with split PVC pipes or battery casings. Now, before you begin the process of winterizing your camper, you need to find the following 4 things: the water heater and the valves surrounding the water heater, the electric water pump, the outside shower, and all the drains that are located under your camper. You may need to reference your specific owner's manual to find the locations of the components that we've just discussed on your particular camper. The procedure I'm about to show you comes directly from the 2018 Airstream Classic Owner's Manual. This will be similar for any Airstream, the major difference being the type of water heater you might have in your camper. Our water heater in the 2018 Airstream Classic 33FB is the combination water heater / hydronic heating system developed by the Swedish company Aldi. The Aldi system uses energy from the water heater through an internal heat exchanger to heat a glycol-based fluid that is then pumped throughout the camper, where it gives off that heat through a series of small radiators. The Aldi system is a wonderfully quiet and efficient way to heat the entire interior of Mary Jane, including the floor of the shower and a heated towel bar, though there are some quirks that need ironed out occasionally, but I'll save that for another video. The short of it is that materials that make up the Aldi water heater system do not require a sacrificial anode plug like most camper water heaters. So winterizing is a bit easier. No anode that needs replacing, no threads to potentially strip, no need for a socket that fits only one thing on the camper. You know what I mean. Now, why do we winterize? Well, the easy answer is that most of the pipes inside our campers are PVC, that's polyvinyl chloride, which, though pretty tough when exposed to normal use, are pretty crappy when the temperature gets low enough to freeze water. Water is one of those anomalous molecular compounds that, once it turns to solid, decides it wants to take up more volume than it did in the liquid state. And it will do that regardless of the container. In our case, PVC, which, as it turns out, is a bad choice when choosing materials for containing expanding ice crystals. So, unless you enjoy tearing out major components inside your camper to get to a leaky pipe, winterizing is the way to go. Now, a small note before we start. This procedure assumes both the gray and black tanks have already been drained to an appropriate dump station prior to the winterizing process. Please do not begin winterizing until all waste tanks have been dumped. At the end of the process, there will be a very small amount of water and glycol antifreeze left in both waste tanks, but not enough to pose any problems. My point is, it's really important to dump both tanks before you begin winterizing. Okay, let's begin. Step 1. Level the trailer from side to side and front to rear. Step 2. Open all the faucets and open the water heater bypass valve. In my case, that's valve number 4. Alright, before I go on, a short warning. The electric water pump is cooled and lubricated by the water flowing through it. The next few steps should be done quickly to prevent the pump from running for an extended time while empty of water. Running the pump without water could cause it to overheat and shorten its life. Step 3. Turn on the electric water pump to empty the freshwater tank and to provide the motor force to drive out most of the water in the pipes. Ours is controlled by the Firefly multiplex system and can be operated at 2 locations, either the main touchscreen panel above the sofa or the switch panel in the bathroom. Camper models vary. Step 4. Open all the drain valves, including the one for the water heater. Now here, the owner's manual mentions the exterior water service valve. Now that intrigued me because, first, I'm not completely sure what that is. Suggestions from anyone watching this video would be great. I've been all through Mary Jane, and I'm pretty sure the 2018 Classic 33FB does not have an exterior hose connection other than the outside shower. Step 5. While the water is draining, flush the toilet. This will empty the bowl and clear the freshwater line supplying the toilet. Step 6. Open the shower valve and drain the line going to the spray head. Step 7. Do the same for the outside shower. Step 8. As soon as water stops flowing from all drains and faucets, turn off the water pump. Step 9. Place a towel large enough to catch about 1 cup of water under and/or around the water pump. Then disconnect the inlet and outlet pipes to the water pump. Step 10. Turn on the water pump long enough to expel any water still inside. This could be up to 1/2 cup. Then reattach the inlet and outlet pipes to the water pump. Step 11. Using the jack, lower and raise the trailer front to the fullest extent to help drain any remaining water. Step 12. When no more water is draining, close all the faucets and drain valves. Step 13. Connect an air compressor to the city water inlet and apply no more than 50 psi air pressure to the freshwater system. I built an adapter out of a few parts I purchased from Home Depot to allow a tight connection between my air compressor and the camper. I made it from 4 separate parts. I started with a 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch garden hose adapter. In that I connected a 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch adapter, female to male. Then connected to that is a 1/4 to 1/4 nipple, male to male. And then finally a 1/4 inch adapted air hose connection. And then connected them all 4 together with plumber's tape. Step 14. Close the freshwater supply valve to the water heater. In my case, that's valve number 1. This will prevent water from being forced back up into the freshwater supply part of the system by the air pressure. Step 15. One by one, open each cold then hot faucet. We have 4 of each: the kitchen sink, bathroom shower, and outside shower. It's very important not to forget that outside shower. Step 16. Open each drain valve long enough to have only air flowing out the drain. Step 17. Open any drain/safety valve on the water heating system. In my case, there are 2, both yellow, on the Aldi system. One that comes off the 4-way temperature regulating valve, and one that drains the system. Both drain through the subfloor to the ground directly beneath the water heater. Step 18. Now, I'm a geeky engineer. I do the last few steps twice. Each faucet, then each drain valve, then back to the faucets. Well, you see what I'm talking about. See, I find water has a way of evading me. It always seems there's a bit of water left in the lines after the first go-round. Step 19. Flush the toilet again. Step 20. When only air is flowing from all drains and faucets, remove the air compressor. Depressurize the air line before removing it from the camper. Step 21. Remove both the inside and outside shower heads and store. Step 22. Add about 1 cup of Glycol-Based Antifreez to all sinks to protect the water trap beneath the sink. You might have either an S-trap or P-trap. They both perform the same function, to keep the smelly air from the gray tank from coming back into the people tank. Also add 1 cup of Glycol-Based Antifreez to the shower drain and the toilet. Step 23. Open both the black and gray tank drain valves and catch any residual water. Wear your gloves. Leave these valves open for the winter, but put the drain cap back on to keep any critters from making a home up inside your camper. And finally, step 24. Remove the batteries. Yes, batteries can freeze. It's best to keep them in a relatively warm and dry environment, like a garage or utility room, and occasionally put them on a trickle charger to keep them topped off over the winter. This will greatly extend their lives. The next section in the Airstream Owner's Manual involves filling the freshwater system with a non-toxic antifreeze, but the winter conditions where we live are not severe enough to warrant that. Plus, my wife and I plan on traveling south in December to avoid any severe South Carolina winter weather. So, for Mary Jane, I'll be skipping that section. In conclusion, this video has demonstrated how I winterize my 2018 Airstream Classic 33FB for the winter conditions we experience here in South Carolina. Your environments may differ significantly, so please adjust accordingly. Thanks for watching. If anyone has any questions regarding winterizing their camper, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm Ben, and this has been My Shiny Toolbox.